it's Liz Yuille from Old Stables Crafts. Thank you very much for joining me again today. Today I have got a kind of combined gift tag wrapping idea. So what I'm actually going to make today is the gift tag, but I'm going to show you the wrapping as well. So this is actually a present for one of my aunts. It's got to go in the post. By the time you see this, it needs to have been in the post, or it's not going to get there in time for Christmas. So I made the wrapping paper. Generally speaking, certainly in the UK, a lot of areas are having an issue with wrapping paper, particularly the very shiny wrapping paper or the wrapping paper with foil on it, because it's not recyclable. And people put it in the recycle bin thinking that it's paper and therefore it's recyclable. There are some areas where if you crumple it up a lot, it will be fine, but that's not what this video is about. This video is about making your own wrapping paper and then wrapping it all nicely. So I bought some very inexpensive brown paper, ordinary brown paper, and I took two of the Dashing Deer stamps, this lovely self-patterned deer and this little one here, and some cherry cobbler ink, and I just covered the whole roll of wrapping paper with stamping. It does use a reasonable amount of ink if you're doing a whole roll, and my roll was, I've got another one just in case, was 6 meters by ½ meter, so quite a lot of wrapping paper. And I covered the whole thing with this stamping, and it looks so pretty. And because it's cherry cobbler, I can use the cherry cobbler and copper reversible ribbon. I can use the striped burlap. So it's a great ribbon, it's a great colour to use, particularly as those are ribbons that are going. So if you want them, get them now. I'm really sad that we're going to lose the copper and cherry cobbler. I can understand why we're losing it, but it's just so pretty. So this is the gift wrapped, and this is the tag, and I have already written on the back of it, but this is part of the whole premise of what I'm showing you, and I've just attached it to the actual ribbon itself, and then that's all going to go into an envelope and into the post. So there we go. That is present number one. Now present number two needs to be finished. It's actually the same thing, I clearly folded it differently. So this is already wrapped, but it needs a ribbon and it needs a tag. So I thought I would show you how I have made both. Well, not the ribbon, but how I've made the whole thing. So this is a piece of crumb cake that I have cut at 2 inches wide. It's just a width of crumb cake, and I actually used the other half of this. This is just half that width. I've just used the other half to make the previous tag, and I'm going to use our lovely scallop tag topper punch to make the shape at the top. So that's that. Then I have die cut using the stitched shape framelets, the largest circle in crumb cake, and then in Very Vanilla I have die cut a circle which is the second from largest, just checking there, it's the second from largest of the layering circles. You could use a punch, so if you've got the 2 1/4 inch punch, this is actually nearer 2 3/4, but you just want something that's going to go on the back, tidy the back up. It needs to be at least 2 inches wide, but it tidies the back up and it gives you something to write on that is nice and smooth, so easy to do. So let me show you how I put it all together. I have already die cut, she said, I've buried it, one of the Dashing Deer. Do remember that the Dashing Deer stamp set and dies are carrying over into the new year, so they will be available after the 2nd of January. What will not be available is the bundle price. So if you want them at 10% off, please, 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 please don't miss out on them, because you don't want to spend an extra 10% if you don't have to, because you can use the extra 10% for things that you want out of the spring summer catalogue. So I'm just looking up because some of the wood mount version is definitely going, but what I can't remember, right, here we go. So this is my autumn winter catalogue. So it's carrying over, the wood mount is going, but is reduced by 40%. So if you want to get the wood mount and the dies, I would get them separately because it will be £48.80 instead of £54. But if you want the clear mount and the dies, then get the bundle because that will save you 10%. So, after which, right, okay. So we don't need that. I have die cut my deer, but what I have done, purely because it was getting a little large, is when I die cut it, I've just taken this little bit here and I cut it off. It was just too large otherwise, and a bit fiddly to sort out the size of the... It would have been an enormous circle, and I don't have a circle die big enough. So, first things first, I have just popped that onto there. Grab yourself a pencil and just mark where that comes. And this is much the easiest way of gluing it together. Trust me, I have tried others. Just add a little bit of liquid adhesive. You could use tear and tape if you want, but tear and tape does add a bit of bulk. And just add liquid adhesive to that shape that you've just drawn and just stick that down. So that's that. Then your deer, we need to add liquid adhesive to as well. Now, had I been sensible, I would have used the multi-purpose sheets before I die cut it and die cut it as a sticker, but you don't have to. It would just have been so much easier. But you can just add adhesive. What I sometimes do, and again probably would have been a good thing to do, is I have a sticky pot. So I've got a piece of sponge in there that is gluey, and I keep it in a little pot so that it's in the same place all the time. And then with your silicone mat you can just add some glue. It's very good for fine detail, and clearly I've decided I'm not using it today. Don't know why. Anyway, and then just add that to the back and then press it. So that is that. Pop that back in its little stand. So that is the deer attached, and it's dashing nicely. Now, what I would suggest is that you write your tag before you do the next bit. So let me just write the tag to Aunt Betty. Merry Christmas. Now, obviously you could stamp this, but traditionally I have always handwritten my tags. So tradition carries on. With love from Elizabeth, because she calls me Elizabeth, and Martin. So that is that. And that I'm just going to add to the back there. So again, grab yourself some liquid adhesive and add that. Just making sure you've got it reasonably well covered. And then pop that on the back. It sits just inside the stitching of the stitched shape, which of course in this case is a circle. Right, okay, so parcel, ribbon, get a reasonable amount of ribbon out. Cut the end. Cut the end properly. even, but never mind. And then just, actually I don't want it there, I want it there. Then just try not to have all your fingers turning into thumbs, just saying, tie the whole thing into a half knot, and this is the point at which you can adjust your parcel wrapping, you know, where your ribbon is. And now that's probably the longest. Slip your ribbon through there, and this is then going to become the loop. So keeping that on the loop, just, actually I want that twisting as I go through, just now you couldn't do this with the burlap ribbon because it's going to be too big to get through that hole comfortably, but it works really nicely with this ribbon because it's a nice soft ribbon. I want that to be cherry cobbler up, and then just trim your ribbon end, and ba-bam! You have your beautifully wrapped handmade wrapping paper, handmade tag prezzies for your family. Thank you very much indeed for watching. I hope you enjoyed watching how I make my tags and wrap my prezzies, and do, you know, give doing your own wrapping paper a go. It's very easy, and if you've not got yards and yards of paper to do, it's really quick. So yeah, give it a go. Let's go really handmade this Christmas. Thank you very much indeed for watching. If you enjoyed it, give it a thumbs up. If you need any of the products, they probably won't arrive in time for Christmas, but if you want particularly the Dashing Deer bundle before it becomes more expensive, do hop over to my online store and get that before the end of business on the 2nd of January. Have a super Christmas if I don't hear from you before then, or if I don't speak to you before then. I will be doing videos right the way through. I may take Christmas Day off, you never know. But yes, have a super Christmas, and I look forward to seeing you very soon.